Persian Jans from UX, and this is Israel wipes out Iran's F-14 Tomcats on the airstrip. Are any left to fight? This was our Sandboxx. Okay, this is basically Top Gun 2, I guess. Yeah, Tom Cruise doesn't have any Tomcats left now. Okay, obviously Iran's best planes or F-14 Tomcats. Is that even good in the modern times? Like, I don't know, man. F-14 is so old. But it must like I'll maintain like a weapon is a weapon. A gun is a gun, doesn't matter how old it is. So F-14 is like, I don't know, decent enough. It must have some pros and cons. I'm pretty sure Sandboxx will talk about it here. But yeah, I guess there's no F-14 left now. So okay, so Iran can do nothing when it comes to air anything, right? So they only rely on like launchers now, missile launchers. Like they can't really attack with any type of missile attack or cruise missile or something like that. Yeah, so planes are really important, right? If you wanna throw like a stealthy cruise missiles here and there, yeah, you need planes. So they don't have planes. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Let's do it.
14 Tomcats lost in combat in my lifetime, and they weren't even airborne at the time. So let's talk about Iran's Tomcat fleet and what risk, if any, Iran may pose with its Top Gun fighters. I'm Alex Hollings, and this is Air Power.
Isn't that factors in music?
Now, according to a statement from the Israeli Air Force, two F-14
Wait a minute. Does Factorson uses some kind of like YouTube music? I didn't know that.
Tomcats were destroyed seemingly today at an airport in Iran's capital city of Tehran, likely at the Mehrabad airport. Now, the Israeli Air Force says these fighters were indeed operational and were staged to launch intercepts of Israeli aircraft, though I'm not so sure about that. Now, the swing-wing Tomcat served on the U.S. Navy's carriers for better than 3 decades and went on to become a legend thanks to the movie franchise Top Gun. But today, the only remaining F-14s in service anywhere in the world belong to Iran. You see, Iran purchased some 80 Grumman F-14 Tomcats from the United States back in the 1970s, with deliveries beginning in 1976, and a total of 79 of these aircraft were ultimately delivered prior to the 1979 Islamic Revolution that saw Iran pivot away from the West and toward religious extremism instead. Now, since then,
Yeah. It's very easy for people to shift and then they realize, fuck, maybe we shouldn't have done that, right? I'm pretty sure it was like Nepal. I don't know, I think it's Nepal who's like trying to bring back monarchy or something. Yeah. I don't know, but like people are optimistic, people are hopeful, like, oh, this is probably not gonna like turn out. Like, it's basically communism thing, isn't it? People always, have dreamy eye thing about communism. Then it comes to power and like, fuck, maybe we shouldn't have done that. So yeah, this is This is basically before when it was called Persia, as people told me, like it was called Persia, not Iran. When the US and Persia had really good relationship, they gave them F-14 and everything, and then obviously Ayatollah, Iran became a thing, Islamic Republic, and there you go. So they still have their. Why didn't they buy anything from Russia? I don't get that. Like, do they not have money even at that level? I mean, they could have bought something like Sukhoi 30s. Sukhoi 30's latest update is like really good, right? I mean, I don't know like how good it is compared to like the something like F-22 or something. Ignoring stealth planes, they're really good, right? At least they could have bought that or something else. I don't know, but like F-14 is really old.
Iran has worked tirelessly to keep at least some of these legendary fighters in good working condition, with a handful upgraded, as they put it, into what Iran calls F-14AMs, which were modified to fly with locally sourced reverse-engineered parts and Iranian weapon systems. Now, the F-14 Tomcat was among the most capable fighters in the sky back in 1979. With a top speed in excess of Mach 2.4 and a rate of climb of around 45,000 feet per minute, the F-14 would absolutely leave America's F-35 in the dust if things were to come down to a drag race. Likewise, back in 1979, the F-14 was arguably better.
Yeah, it would leave F-16 in the dust as well. Why are you talking about twin engine versus one engine? Let's talk about, like F-22 if that's the case, right? So even if it has look, man, it's not as simple as that. Even if it has a higher speed like that, how good it is to achieve that speed, how good it is to maintain that speed. It's an old plane, man. Not just old plane, like it's an old technology plane. On top of that, it's already old by now, just by the aging. Like how great it is, how much can it sustain? It's like I don't know, man. It's like like car talk, right? And people are like, oh, this is a top speed of 200 and this miles per hour. Yeah, but it doesn't have aerodynamic anything. How long it will it take for it to reach that, and how long is it going to be sustainable before the tires blow out? Like you can't really, like you can't really compare that to something like Bugatti or something which is properly well made. Some shit like that.
Suited for some aspects of the air-to-air mission than even the F-15 Eagle, thanks to its massive Hughes AN/AWG-9 fire control radar and its complement of AIM-54 Phoenix air-to-air missiles. Not only could this radar detect and target enemy aircraft at greater distances than the F-15 could with that original APG-63 array, but it could engage those targets at much greater ranges than the Eagle could with its own semi-active radar-guided AIM-7 Sparrows. Now that's all to say.
Why is it better than F-15 in those regards? I mean, isn't F-15 is newer than F-14, right? Like I would guess. And F-15 was like overpowered when it became a thing, right? I don't know.
That you might argue the original Tomcat was a more capable long-range interceptor than the Eagle, while the Eagle was arguably the scrappier dogfighter. Of course, in the years since, though, Israel's F-15s and even F-16s for that matter have continued to receive periodic technological upgrades, and today, Israel's F-15s boast upgraded APG-70I series radar arrays and much more potent AIM-120 advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles, or AMRAAMs, likely giving these moderately upgraded Eagles a pretty clear edge in air-to-air combat over Iran's original F-14As, despite Iran claiming to still have AIM-54s and their reverse-engineered equivalent, the Fakor 90, in service. But while the F-15 has a pretty clear advantage in a scrap against Israel's most advanced tactical aircraft, the F-35I, well, there's a pretty good chance the Tomcat would never even see the shot coming that ultimately took it out of the sky. Now, radar cross-sections are notoriously difficult to calculate and vary depending on your angle of observation and even the frequency of your radar array, but it has been.
I mean, F-35 has better radar. It is just better handling, fly by wires and shit, right? It's just much stable. Like people talk about F-16, F-15, like how it's a plane, but it's like jitters and everything, how gunfires and everything moves. While F-22 is like basically it's too smooth, sublime. F-35 is basically equivalent to that, right? So F-35 is just like next level shit. And I don't know, man, like, yeah, you can't really compare it, especially the weaponry the F-35 has, right? Like the F-35 can like load up a lot of insane weapons with insane range and shit. You can't really compare F-35 with the F-14, come on.
Reported that the Tomcat has roughly the same radar return as the F-15E Strike Eagle, which sits at an estimated and pretty massive 25 square meters, versus the F-35's estimated 0.0015 square meters. And while the AWG-9 radar in the Tomcat was truly something to behold in 1979, the F-35's AN/APG-81
25 square meters. Well, that's a Greyhound bus coming there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's F-14 Tomcat. There you go.
Represents more than one generational leap ahead of it in terms of capability. But as we see in this footage, the truth is it really doesn't matter how well Iran's Tomcats might fare in an air-to-air scrap with Israeli jets if those Tomcats never make it off the ground. And truth be told, only a few of them likely can. You see, in 2006, when the United States Navy retired its own Tomcat fleet, the majority of those retiring airframes were literally fed into an industrial shredder to ensure parts or components couldn't be stolen from boneyard fighters and then smuggled into Iran to help keep those capable jets in service. And by 2020, credible reports suggested that Iran had fewer than 24 flying Tomcats left at most, out of its original 79 fighter fleet. Now, a handful of operational Tomcats have been spotted in recent years over Iran, including a single Tomcat seen escorting Russian President Vladimir Putin's aircraft and its fighter escorts in December of 2023. A flight demonstration from a single F-14 at Iran's International Aerospace Exhibition in December of 2024, and unconfirmed reports of an F-14 intercepting.
This is so fucked up, man. I'm not gonna lie. This is like flexing with money, but that's the only money you have. What are you flexing? You basically have no F-14, but you're gonna flex like, oh, look at the exhibition. Here's an F-14. I don't get it. Like, Iran has money to build all those launchers and all those ballistic missiles. How do you not have money to buy some planes from Russia or something? Like, they have good relations with Russia. They could have bought something like Sukhois or something. Like I said, I don't get it. Why they still have same planes for like 5 decades now?
An American MQ-4C Triton surveillance drone before ultimately retreating back into its own airspace in March of this year. Of course, these sightings could point to several operational Tomcats remaining in service, or potentially as few as just one flying aircraft that's regularly paraded about to maintain the illusion of a more potent air power apparatus than Iran truly has. Now, this, of course, would actually be in keeping with what we've recently learned about Iran's poorly integrated air defense apparatus, that up until last October or so, when the nation's last 3 Russian-sourced S-300 air defense systems were destroyed, was broadly believed to be pretty robust, even if somewhat dated and piecemeal. Now, again, although Israel says the F-14s they destroyed were operational, they don't look all that operational to me in this footage. But even if that is the case, the loss of these airframes could still be a problem by further limiting Iran's ability to keep other Tomcats operational, as they could have been valuable.
How could you tell if it's operational or not from these photos? I don't get it.
Parts
because they're out in open? Is that what you mean?
Donors for the cause. Now, with Israel securing air superiority over at least a large portion of Iran just days into this offensive, it's become pretty clear that despite Iran's sizable military footprint, including what may be the largest standing army and largest ballistic missile stockpile in the Middle East, Iran is either significantly less formidable than previously assessed, or Israel's covert.
What is Middle East? What is considered Middle East? Is Pakistan part of the Middle East? I'm pretty sure Pakistan would have a better military than Iran. Like, they have just better plane, decent. Like, I'm pretty sure they have like 600,000-700,000 soldiers or something, half of India, something like that. I don't know. Like yeah, they have decent military compared to Iran. That's for damn sure. Is Pakistan part of the Middle East? I don't know.
Intelligence and special operations forces have so thoroughly penetrated Iran's entire defense apparatus that it enabled what may well amount to be one of the most well-planned and successful air campaigns in all of modern history, at least depending on how the rest of this conflict plays out. And while I genuinely can't say which for sure just yet, I'm inclined at this point to believe it was probably a combination of the two. But make no mistake, despite Iran already losing what may be 1/3 of their ballistic missile launchers, the nation still does have the ability to launch dozens of ballistic missiles and long-range kamikaze drones at Israel at a time. And despite the air defense efforts of Israel,
yeah, look, man, I'm pretty sure like Pakistan used Iranian drone against India, which was basically intercepted 99%. So I think Israel is going to be fine when it comes to like drones. I don't know about ballistic missile. Obviously, you could be overwhelmed. But then again, India's like defense system is like mix of things. It's like Israeli helped system, indigenous system, Israeli and French and India's joint venture defense system, Akash system. There's Prithvi system and there's S-400s. Yeah, it's like there's 3-4 system working in India, so maybe India was a different thing. But then again, like only thing Iran has to flex is like a drones. I don't get it. Like those small drones we just saw. Like this is okay. We have drones and we have ballistic missile. Did they thought that this is good enough to be flexing? You're a country that is funding a lot of terrorist organization at the center of everything, trying to flex on everyone. Shouldn't you invest more in your military? I don't get it. Like why didn't you buy Sukhoi 30s or something from Russia? Why didn't you try to buy things that gives you somewhat edge in every place, from Army, Air Force, not maybe Navy, but yeah, Army and Air Force. Have a tight Air Force, why not? Try to secure like modern-esque cruise missile and missiles of that kind, right? Like how there's a Scalp and Hammer missiles from France, right? Like there are many stealth missiles like that. Russia probably has that. You could have gotten shit from Russia. Why didn't you do it? I don't get it.
The United States and other partner nations in the region, some of those weapons are going to continue to get through, and this fight is far from over.
Yeah.
And while seeing some F-14s destroyed,
Yeah, after this video, like a lot of shit went through. Yeah, this is an old video by now, 4 days.
even Iranian ones might hurt the feelings of some of our inner children, it is safe to say that Iran is having a much worse day, with the Wall Street Journal already reporting that Iran is urgently signaling through Middle East partners that they would like to renew negotiations with Israel and the United States regarding their nuclear program. But at least
I mean, I'm pretty sure Ayatollah just said, like, keep your threat to yourself and don't threaten me. Threaten people who are afraid of you type of shit. Is that politics? I don't know, okay. When everybody's circling you, you have no allies left that can literally help you physically. Not just support you by arm-wise, like literally physically support you. Russia's not going to do that. I don't know who's going to do that. I think this is not the time to flex and try to be back channel and do politics. And try to make sure you make a deal with USA and Israel. Some kind of like a peace talk, anti-nuclear deal, because you have no option left. You don't have allies left that can actually physically help you. Why are you flexing? I don't get your end goal.
so far, Israel has expressed no interest in renewing talks. And that'll do it for this very short episode of Air Power from Sandboxx.
Yeah, there you go. This was an interesting, like F-14s are destroyed, but then again, maybe they had no faith. Like they didn't put that into priority. Like we need planes or something, so they're not gonna care. I think they're relying on drones and ballistic missile a lot. Like if we have this, why would we need anything else? Because our strategy is bomb the shit out of the other side. Defense doesn't matter much. I think that's their mentality. If people are gonna bomb us, fine, we'll weather it. But we're gonna bomb you as well. So they're just creating offensive things. They don't care about air superiority or shit like that. They're just gonna go inside. The government is just gonna go inside the bunker, and there you go. They don't care about the people. So yeah, we're just gonna bomb the shit out of you with ballistic missile. You can bomb us, I don't care. I think that's the mentality. Otherwise, they would have bought something like Sukhoi 30s and things like that, right? And many planes they could have bought from Russia. I'm pretty sure there's a plane that Russia could have sold before the Ukraine war. When they had planes lying around, when they were thinking about replacing certain planes, they could have just bought those. They could have sold those planes to Iran. They didn't even bought that. They still have F-14s. I mean, come on. F-14 is really old. The whole point of F-14 in a Top Gun movie was a joke. Like, oh shit, this is an old one. That's the plane Iran has. How does that even make sense? Okay. Alright, well, if you like my channel, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.